Mom, there is a folder on your laptop, or a bookmark, or a login you have not opened in 4 months. And it belongs to something you bought the day you decided to change. I did not stop you from changing. The purchase did. Napoleon Hill interviewed the devil and forced a confession. The confession was this: most people confuse wishing with deciding. A wish has no power. A decision cuts off every other option. I have spent decades watching ambitious men buy things and call that deciding. The course, the program, the tool, the domain. Each one purchased in a surge of clarity. Each one sitting untouched inside a folder with a name that stopped mattering around week 2. You still have the login. You have not canceled because canceling would mean admitting the decision was never real. That is not forgetfulness. That is my design. Here's what I need you to understand before this video is over. The purchase felt like a decision because it produced the emotional signature of one. The certainty, the relief, the sense that something finally shifted. That feeling was real. The problem is that it was complete. It arrived before anything happened. And a feeling that arrives before anything happens is not a decision. It is a wish wearing the decision's clothes. If buying felt like deciding, what does an actual decision feel like? And have you ever made one? There is a number. The total amount sitting in courses and tools and gear you have never used. You already know roughly what it is. The purchase is not the problem. The problem is what you told yourself the purchase meant. And I will show you exactly when that story was written. You told someone about it. A friend, a group chat, a post. You described the plan with real energy. They said something encouraging. And somewhere in the next 48 hours, the urgency left. You called it rest. You called it the natural rhythm of a big commitment. I called it collection. Here is the mechanism. When you announce an identity-related intention and someone acknowledges it, something completes, not the goal, the identity signal. The part of you that needed to feel like a person who does this thing received confirmation before the thing was done. The social acknowledgement filled the slot the action was supposed to fill. You consented to this. You told your friend you were launching. They said that's amazing. And your nervous system registered something close to arrival. Not full arrival, but enough. Enough to reduce the pressure. Enough to make the next morning feel less urgent. Enough to make the planning feel like the work. I am exposing a mechanism, not offering therapy. This is a behavioral autopsy, not a prescription. The announcement was not accountability. Accountability is what happens when the cost of not acting falls on you. What happened in that conversation was the reward collected early, before a single irreversible move was made. You know which conversation I am describing. That is hypnotic rhythm beginning its first cycle. The pattern does not need to harden yet. It only needs to start. The announcement was the reward. But there is a layer underneath the announcement, a mechanism that runs even in private, even when no one is watching, even when you never tell a soul. That mechanism is older and quieter, and I designed it to feel like wisdom. You are being smart about this. You are not burning bridges. You need a safety net. You are playing the long game. I wrote every one of those lines. The day job is still there. 3 years into the business you decided to build. The dating app is still installed. 6 months into the relationship you decided to pursue. The backup plan has a backup plan. And you call this responsible. I call it the proof that you do not believe your own decision. Hill was precise about the word decide. It comes from the Latin decidere, to cut off. A decision is not a preference. It is not a ranking. It is a severance. When you decide, you eliminate the alternative. Not emotionally, structurally. You make the alternative unavailable. The open door is not neutral. Every exit you leave open is an active competitor to the path you claim to have chosen. It pulls mental energy. It pulls emotional energy. It provides a soft place to land that makes the main path feel lower stakes. And a lower stakes path tends to receive lower stakes effort. The man 3 years into his transition still has the same employer. He calls the side project a side project. He tells people he is building something. He is. He is building the habit of almost committing. I did not ask him to keep the job. I only needed him to stop calling the job temporary. That was the consent moment. Not the day he took the safe option. The day he stopped treating it as temporary. Your backup plan is your confession, not mine. The open door is the mechanism. But underneath the door is a force that makes closing it feel dangerous, even when staying open is provably worse. That force is not caution. I designed it to feel like caution. Its actual name is older, and Hill named it before I could. You have decided to change your life before, more than once. The feeling was real every time. The results were identical every time. At some point, the feeling is no longer evidence of a decision. It is evidence of the loop. Here is the confession I have been building toward. The feeling of deciding produces the same physiological signal as deciding. The surge in the chest, the clarity, the sense that this time is different. Your body cannot distinguish between the emotional experience of a real commitment and the emotional experience of a vivid intention. When you visualize the outcome clearly enough, when you feel the future version of yourself with enough detail, something in you relaxes, not because the work is done, because the body is treating the simulation as partial completion. The feeling was the product, not the byproduct. The product. I designed that feeling to arrive before the irreversible move, so that the irreversible move would never need to happen. You felt the decision. You believed you had made it. The slot was occupied. And an occupied slot does not generate pressure to act because the mind believes the decision is already behind it. You have felt that surge. You have called it motivation. You have waited for it to return when it faded. I manufactured it. And I can manufacture it again the next time you need to feel like you are moving without actually moving. Here is the diagnostic question Hill points toward. Not what have you planned, not what have you announced, not what have you visualized. What have you made irreversible? What option have you eliminated? What resource have you committed that you cannot recover? What door have you closed? If the answer is nothing, the decision has not happened yet. Regardless of how it feels from the inside, you have decided several times. I was there for each one, and I was not threatened by a single decision that left every exit open. That is the consent moment. The moment the feeling of deciding satisfied the need that execution was supposed to satisfy. The feeling was real. The loop ran anyway. And if you have run it more than once, which you have, then the loop is not a mistake. It is a pattern. And patterns have a different name when they repeat. Hill named what happens to repeated patterns. That name is the last confession before the dare. You are not stuck. You are trained. There is a difference. Stuck implies the pattern has not set yet. Trained means it has. Hill confessed that nature does not care what the pattern contains. Hypnotic rhythm fixes whatever is repeated. The 10th time you announced a goal and did not execute was not equivalent to the first time. It was easier. The groove was deeper. The announcement required less activation. The drift back to the baseline required less friction. The excuse arrived faster and felt more reasonable than it did the first time. You are not someone who has failed to decide. You are someone who has successfully trained a pattern of almost deciding. The training is complete. The pattern runs without effort. Here is where the three mechanisms from earlier lock together. You announced the goal and collected the identity reward early. You kept every door open and called it strategic. You felt the surge and believed that feeling was the decision. Those are not three separate failures. They are three stages of a single system. The announcement satisfies the identity need. The open door ensures full commitment never lands. The feeling of deciding provides the emotional evidence that the system is working. And then the cycle resets. And each reset deepens the groove. You are not fighting the loop, you are funding it. The groove does not feel like a prison because it delivers something real. The feeling of ambition without the exposure of actual commitment. The identity of someone building something without the risk of finding out whether you would actually follow through. I do not need you to quit. I need you to almost start repeatedly until the almost starting becomes the thing you are best at. There is one move that breaks this. Not a system, not a plan. One move. It has to be irreversible. Here is what it looks like. A decision is proven by what it makes irreversible. Not by how it feels, not by who you told, not by how clearly you can visualize the outcome, by what you have closed. Hill's confession, the one that threatened me most, was this. He cannot control a person who knows exactly what they want and is determined to get it. Not hoping to get it, not planning to get it. Determined. Determined means the alternatives have been cut off. Determined means the other options are structurally unavailable, not just emotionally ranked lower. The dare is not a motivational exercise. It is a structural one. First, open your bank or payment history right now and find the total you have spent on courses, tools, and gear for goals you have not executed. Write the exact number down, not approximately, exactly. That number is the documented cost of the wish pattern. Look at it until it stops feeling abstract. Second, pick one. One course, one tool, one domain, one subscription. Cancel it today. Not because you are giving up, because keeping it open is the structural lie that the decision was already made. The cancellation is the first irreversible move. It closes one door. That is what deciding feels like in the body. Not a surge, a cut. Third, set a calendar event 72 hours from now titled Proof of Work. Name one specific output, not a plan, not research, one artifact that did not exist before. Send the invite to one person whose opinion you actually respect. The 72-hour window is kinetic friction inserted directly into the groove before the next reset cycle can complete. I delivered this confession because the mechanism only holds as long as it stays invisible. You have watched the loop run. You have seen the announcement, the open door, the feeling of deciding, the groove. You have the diagnostic question. What have you made irreversible? I do not need you to feel motivated. I need you to make one cut. If you do not, the groove runs again. You already know that.